Alright guys, what's happening? It is Good Friday, Friday before Easter, and we're out at the shop, and you guys are probably wondering what this truck is looking like. Here you go. I started blocking on the door bottoms where I had my repairs, and I stuck the truck out in the sun for the day yesterday. It was real nice, but today it's like 30 degrees and just terrible cold out. So hopefully we curtailed any major shrinkage problems that we might have from this truck sitting in the shop. I didn't block it real far. You can see right up along the edges there's a couple little low spots, but that kind of stuff really doesn't bother me there or along the bottom. In the middle of the door it will, but it's white, you won't see it anyway. I will block that out. I did have some pinholes I'm going to have to go back and fill in the body filler that I missed, but we'll do that before I finish blocking this out. And then all I'll have to do is put a coat of sealer over it and rock and roll. Or I can put one coat of primer on it and then just taper off the edges. But you know, you got a little low there, or a little one there. But all in all, I mean, everything considered on how bad I had to molest these door bottoms, they really turned out pretty good. We'll show you the other side. And then I'm working on prepping the fenders up to get those ready to shoot as well. Now this side had a couple of boinks in the door that I fixed. I didn't want to leave them, so I didn't really block on those. You got to be careful when you have a boink that's this close to the edge. You don't really want to sand over here. You kind of want to stay over, because inherently this lip will stick up higher no matter what. I don't care if you sand where there's no damage or where you have damage. You will rub that edge clean through to the steel before you block that out. I guarantee it. Unless you wipe the whole door or put polyester primer or high build it like 3 times, you'll keep hitting that edge. And the same thing with this back one. I mean, I got a little low in there, but all in all, yeah, a little something going on down there. I'm just not finished blocking. I just knocked the top off of it so that it would let any solvent that was trapped in it out while I put it in the sun. There's the front door. The driver's side front door I took the most time on, and so far it looks the worst. I got a little low spot in there that I don't know if that's going to block. I may have to wipe it with some putty. But I'm pretty happy with it. I know I'm not going to get this truck painted this weekend. I'll be lucky if I get it masked up tomorrow and ready for paint Monday. I just got a lot of little detail work to do, especially if I have to reprime anything. So I'm going to work on that today. I got the fenders over here sitting on some body stands, getting them prepped up. All in all, you know, these are aftermarkets. This one, I filled a little dent in the top of it. I mean, it was so tiny, but I filled it and shot some primer on it when I was priming everything else to make sure I got it, and then I buzzed over them quick with some 600, and then the outsides of it got some 800 on it. 800 was probably a little extreme, but yeah, that's where we're at. I'm going to epoxy these fenders just to try and give them a little more life. As e-coat goes, this seems to be pretty thick stuff. Some of the aftermarket stuff, you'll burn through it real quick. I mean, of course, the edges, if you're not careful, if you take anything more than a scuff pad to these, you'll burn through the edges. It's just the way it is. But we'll try and give them a little more protection than, you know, just the black e-coat on them. So there's that. Not a whole lot going on. Using 600 on the DA on the initial cut on those, and then those are the Kovacs Lemon 800s. This stuff, it cuts really even and real nice, real fast. This cuts probably like 400 or 600, and it's 800. It's just a real nice product. So I got that going. What else is happening? Oh, I don't know. I need to get to blocking on this and get something on the go here. I've been using this block right here if I can find it. This Durablock. If you start trying to use, this is just from my experience, first of all, this is not a full-on restoration. this one has a little bit of flex to it. If you start using something like that, that is going to piss you off on a collision rust repair type job like this. You will block and block and block some more, and it's a door bottom. It is going to fight you, and that block is so rigid that it's just going to find tons more low spots than what you really need to worry about. You know, something like this, yeah, I need to block that straight because that's a pretty substantial spot there. But the rest of it, I mean, it's so close. That little block really does the trick. That's probably in all the Durablocks. This is my favorite block. This is my go-to block. I use this one. You will probably never see me use this one. In fact, I think I've only had paper on it twice. And the only thing I use these firm Durablocks for is color sanding. And even with that, I very rarely use it. I'll use a soft block. These are Motor Guard. They've got the gray on one side and the black rubber on the other, and you can really flex it. I just don't use those other Durablocks much. My other one that I use a lot is this round one. I'd like to get one of the teardrop shaped ones. Those look like they'd work pretty good, but those are basically my my go-to blocks. That, and I really like, this is a 3M stick-it block. Let's say that's an 11, maybe. I don't know. That seems awfully long. Yeah, I think that's 11. This one I use a little bit, depends on how small the dent is, but I basically use these for block and filler. I do not block primer with those hardly ever. If I do, I use the longer one. But those are my favorite ones. And then I had a question. Somebody was curious about backmasking. And I'm not sure what kind of backmasking you're looking for, but I'm going to put you on the stand and show you the way I do it. And this is the way probably most guys do it because that's where I learned it. I used to always use the soft foam tape to backmask stuff, but I'm going to show you the way I more or less do it now. I'm sorry it's dark in here, but I'll get you up on the old stand here. My SD card's running out of memory too, so you have to bear with me. Now if you're going to backmask for primer, so here's a piece of paper off the tape machine. Sticky side is facing toward me. Say I was going to mask this area up here, I would take that piece of paper and tape it over the repair and then fold it up so it has a rounded edge on it. And I might do that at a couple different angles around everything. That's the way I mask the doors off. And then the idea is do not spray up to that paper. Now this particular repair is so close to the door handle opening. I didn't have the door handle opening taped off. I just decided this was the way to do it. But that's one way to backmask something, for primer more or less. But say you want to mask the inside of this door jamb up, and you want to keep overspray from getting inside that door. Basically is what I'll do. I think you guys will be able to see this. I'll move the camera for you in a second. Depends on how much of a panel I'm doing. With this one, since I'm painting both doors, I will probably, you can see what I've already done here. You can see that I actually taped inside the hem of the door, and I will paper this entire door off, okay? So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is you get you some 2-inch tape, 1.5-inch tape, whatever you want to call it, and you can either just tape it with the sticky side facing out. So you have something like this. Okay. And then pull it after you want to make sure all your edges are prepped first and scuffed down. But pull it so you've got something like that. And then attach your paper to it and fold your paper into the door. That's a way to backmask a door opening. Take that off because I'm not ready to mask it yet anyway, and we'll reuse this piece of tape. Another thing you can do, let's say you're doing used car or doing something like, if you saw one of my previous videos, you have that van that I painted the side of. You can paint, say all your body work is well below this body line, or even this one up here, take your pick. Let me find the 3/4 inch tape. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can take this tape. Okay, so you have your tape. Sticky side's facing you guys. Let's see if we can do this one-handed. I think you can see that. Fold the corner over like that. I'm gonna put this down. Hopefully you guys can see this. Aim it down a little bit farther. So you'll take your thumb. Here's the edge that I've got folded over, sticky side up. Okay. Lay it across your knee and take your, ooh, hey, losing my spot there. Take your thumb and hold on to the tape like that. Just pull on the tape and you'll get a piece of tape that looks like this, okay? Aim you guys back up here, it's hard to focus. I know it's a little wobbly. Here's where I really started getting the, I think the camera will focus on that. Sticky side's facing you, so you've got an edge on the top here that's rolled over, and you still have some sticky on the back of the tape, okay? You take that tape, and you have to scuff right on this body line if you're going to do it. You would take it, obviously I would use a much longer piece of tape. So you've got that piece of tape on there now. I would obviously take the whole door. So now you've got something, I can stick my finger underneath that so it's just overhanging that body line. And when you spray, you'll spray down across it. Actually, it really doesn't matter as long as you don't spray up underneath it. That will leave you a soft edge. That's one way to do it. And one other way that I do it, I actually have some soft edge tape for backmasking, something like that. Take your 3/4 inch tape and overhang this edge. Just barely stick that tape over the edge. And take another 3/4 inch piece of tape. I think you guys can sort of see this. And again, obviously I would do the whole door if I were going to do this, but let's see if I can do this one-handed. Sometimes I make this up off the door, but okay, there we go. So you've got sticky side facing out on your second piece of tape, and then take that piece of tape and fold it up like that. I think you can see what I'm doing there. So then you end up with a piece of tape that looks like this. So you got a piece of tape on the door that's just over that line, and then you'll take it I'm a little low on my tape here. You really want this pulled so that it's just on that line. But basically you'd want this part of the tape on just shadowing over the body line. You don't want it sticking up like what I did there. I just pulled it up to sort of show you what's going on. As long as there's a teeny weeny air gap under that, that'll work. I can think of one other way you can do this too. And I'll put you back on the stand again. Timer's ticking here. I got 16 minutes left on this card, so hopefully I can show you something. If you're going to do multiple coatings, this tape is probably not the best tape, the tan colored tape, because it's just too damn sticky. But I use this a lot. You can't leave it on very long or the residue gets transferred. But I use it because a lot of the vehicles I use are just, no matter how much you clean them, that you need something that has super, super good adhesive on it. So another thing you could do is hang a piece. Well, let's do this first. Take your tape. Get however much you need. You move the camera stand back. Take your tape, take the sticky side, run it on your shirt, whatever you gotta do. Get some sticky off of it. And you'll put it right on that body line, and then you'll lift that edge up just a little bit. Okay? That'll work too. You just got to be careful not to bump that, because it will stick to your paint. Okay? So we've got that. I've taken my thumb underneath it and picked it up a little bit. Now, you're going to do more than one coating. Take another piece and overhang it maybe 1/8 of an inch. And you got to set this up, you know, when you're masking the vehicle. You can't do this in the middle of a job. So I'll say let's do 3 layers here. And basically what this is going to do for you, too fussy with it, but okay, this is like the end of the tape tricks that I know. Bring you guys right up so you can see. Oh God, that camera does not want to focus. No, it doesn't want to focus. Why? You know, I've got a lens protector on here. Maybe that's throwing it. So let's take that off and drop it on the floor. Oh, maybe you can see it. So there's 1, 2, 3 layers that are 1/8 of an inch apart. You spray your first coating. Now I'm going to have to back you guys up. Wow, that zoomed in way too far. There we go. So you're going to spray your first coating. The last piece of tape you put on is hanging the farthest down. So you're going to take that one. And you're going to peel that piece off. You're going to spray your next coating, and you're going to stay away from this tape. You're not going to come right up to this tape. You're going to stay down from it, so you're just barely getting any spray next to it. So say if that was base coat, and you were doing a clear melt as your end, you just don't want to get base anywhere near it. So your first coat of clear comes up to that first tape. Your second coat of clear will come up to this layer. Shit, it's stuck together. I didn't set that up real well, but then you pull the next one off because it's overhanging this one by about 1/8 of an inch. then you have your last one. When you're all done, you peel that off and spray your edge blending solvent real lightly along that to melt whatever fuzzy overspray is right on that line. And then you can lightly buff that when you're done. And that works good on fleet vehicles. I don't do it on customer cars, but on a fleet truck like this, if I had to do something like that, I would. But the bottom line is, when it comes to backmasking, let me back this thing up again because I'm way in the picture, out of the picture here. You can see I've already pulled the door handle out, the outer belt molding. I had to put the mirror back on it temporarily, but I prepped this door to do an overall clear on it. For what little bit of time it takes me to sand this door, and for an extra $5 or $10 worth of product, and 15 minutes worth of prep work or 10 minutes worth of prep work, I would rather clear this whole door. Now, if the only damage this door had was this bottom, and it was the only panel I was painting, I would probably break it off in that body line, especially since it's a fleet vehicle and it's white, and then you'd be done with it. But those are the backmasking tricks I know how to do with tape. I'm not an expert with the tape tricks. I'm only showing you guys what I've learned. But let's look at one other product here. This video is going to get long, but I don't really feel like working today. I'd rather teach you guys something that I picked up along the way. So the last thing that I'll use, if I can get the box out of the cabinet here. Okay, this says, if it'll focus, 3M smooth transition tape. This is, I forget what size this is, but this basically works the same way as the tape tricks. Because it's clear, it may not focus. Boy, this stuff is going to be a bitch. Oh, there we go. Let's hold it a little farther away. So you can see in the center there's a darker spot. Basically, that's where the adhesive is. And then each side of this piece of tape, there's no adhesive on. It's just in the middle. So that's like your tape overhang. And you'll put that on a body line. That stuff works real good. It's expensive as hell. Just like everything. I think it's 12 bucks for that. Each one of those rolls. And they want to only sell it by this giant box. I've got 2 rolls because somebody suckered them into opening a box, and they sold like 2 rolls or 3 rolls out of it. And I just bought the rest of the box. So that's another one. And then you got this stuff here, the 3M soft edge door aperture tape, dart tape, whatever you want to call it. It's just a round piece of foam with adhesive on the back of it. And you can take that and stick that. Let's see if I can rip a piece of that off. I'll put you guys in the cabinet for a second. Let me stare at my t-shirt. Okay. So this piece is kind of gnarly, but you'll get the idea. And this stuff works good for sealing off body lines, or not body lines, excuse me, for sealing off door openings. This is the smaller stuff. If you got something that's got really big door gaps on it, you need the bigger tape, but a lot of the foreign cars have a real tight door opening. So you'll take this, and you can see the ends are all gnarly. You don't want it all deformed like this, but you get the idea. You put that right up to the edge like that, and any overspray that comes around this edge, it just breaks it right up. You won't even see it. It's so faint. So there's my backmasking and tape tricks. To the best of my knowledge, those are the ones I use the most. But you guys got to remember that I don't do this on a daily basis. This is not my day job. So I use all the time-saving products I can get my hands on to cycle things through faster. And that's why I buy stuff like this tape and that soft edge 3M tape as well. But the masking tape tricks, if you're only doing one job, you probably won't get good at doing the masking tape tricks after just one job. I've been using them for probably 4 years now with masking tape, and I'm getting better at them, but not doing it every day, I don't get that good at it. But that's kind of how I do it, so maybe you guys learned something there too. Have a good day, guys.